Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today, we're going to do some gameplay. We're still exploring the new standard. With the upcoming qualifier weekend, I got my play points, so we're trying to figure out best of one and then best of three decks for the event. There's also RCQ session coming and kind of going from there for the standard season. So I need to find a new deck because my mice deck got banned and I don't have the cards for the Is it deck that I want to play, or I need like the blue-black mid-range. So I have most of the Shell of Delirium, so I'm trying to see what works and what doesn't. So this deck list here is something I've been working on for best of one. I've gone in Diamond with it after the reset, so got most of the way through Platinum with it. And I want to cover a couple of the card choices, and then afterwards we'll do a demo of a couple gameplay sessions just to kind of explain the lines. So the Delirium deck has existed, usually hovering around like tier 3, tier 2. It's gotten an uptick. It has very fast kills, but it is a little bit susceptible to graveyard hate. And you do run the risk of just kind of not hitting Delirium and your cards underpowered. When you have Delirium, so 4 or more card types, things like Wildfire Wickerfolk become 4/3 Tramplers. A couple key things with this deck. Cut down gets you dodge most of your creatures dodge cut down. And then Go for the Throat's not the most effective against you. You are pretty soft to temporary lockdown just with the curve of your deck. So we have Wildfire Wickerfolk that cares about Delirium. Keen-Eyed Curator, it's a 3/3, so dodges cut down. And in best of one, it's nice because it's main board graveyard hate. So for the Dinosaur combo, for Omni, for Reanimator, you have some main board action. If you exile effectively Delirium underneath it in terms of card types, then it becomes a 7/7 Trampler, so it works really nice with that. Fear of Missing Out gives you extra combat steps. Breakout lets you haste out one of your smaller creatures. And then we have Patchwork Beastie. So this doesn't attack early, but if you have Delirium, it's a 1-mana 3/3. It's also multi-type. So you'll notice with some of these creatures, artifact creature, enchantment creature, so they count as multiple types in terms of your graveyard. So some of the flex spots, one of the creatures that I play in the deck, and I've liked it against the Demirish meta. So when I was playing an RCQ a couple months ago for the previous to this modern one, when I played the standard one, I played Delirium, and it was when bounce and stuff was very popular. Paw Patch Recruit in the main. I like having a secondary 1-drop creature that allows you to start putting some pressure. It's a 1 mana play, 3 mana play. It has trample, so if you get extra combats with the Violent Urge, it plays nicely. And it forces sometimes your opponent into awkward blocks. So I've liked that. You can play Torch the Tower instead if you want to be a little bit more interactive. I have Tursa. Some of the decks are playing upwards of 4. I only like 2. It has diminishing returns in terms of just kind of cards coming in. Screaming Nemesis is something you could also play if you want to go with that. But Tursa kind of helps churn through like extra lands, stuff of that nature. Then we have Balustrade Worm. I've been playing this as a 1-of, just as another card that you can get just through milling. Gets you some value off the graveyard. It's uncounterable. It's just a big haste damage ball. And then the flex spot that I've been running right now, some of the decks run Terra. I don't like playing Terra if you're not playing Summon Beholder, which I think is too slow for best of one. I would try to make it as aggressive as possible. So this has a couple different things. It's an artifact, obviously, for Delirium. It crews itself when it comes into play, so it's just a 4/2 kind of lightning bolt style that comes in, smashes your opponent for some damage. It gives your creatures virtual haste, things like Keen Eye, Fear of Missing Out, Paw Patch, that you play this on 3, then your 4-drop can crew it, and then it's also a card that from your graveyard can be brought back into play. So if you mill it over and you're kind of flooding, you're drawing a bunch of lands, you can pitch the land and get that ability there. So I've tried out Nemesis. I've been finding this has been pretty good. I think the best of 3 version is going to be a little bit different, just in terms of how you configure it. And then kind of looking at the spells. So Violent Urge, it's a very, very strong card. It's like your Embercleave-esque card. But the thing is, with this here, you have to kind of consider it's only good when you have Delirium to do kind of the burst damage. You always want to draw 1. You don't want to draw more than 1. So I've kind of found 3 to be the most efficient. Bushwhack lets you hit lands early and then could be a fight spell if needed as well. So just a flexible card. It's also sorcery type, which we don't have too many. And then we have Seed of Hope here. This helps you kind of set up your mill, gives you some life, and it allows for potential turn 2 Patchwork Beasties to attack. And then lastly, Overprotect. This is kind of the combo card. It's protection. It's like Snakeskin Veil gets souped up to the max. A lot of times people attack in with fear of missing out. You double strike or double combat. You could double strike with Violent Urge. It's just really, really strong card. So I've been liking that. And then lastly, Restless Ridgeline is the only utility land I'm playing in the deck. I like it as a one of. Some of the lists are playing Surveil lands. I don't like playing Surveil lands in a deck that wants to play 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. It kind of slows you off on the curve. In other formats, you have fetch lands, so you can kind of pull that out in that case. But Ridgeline is the only tap land I want in the deck. And then you'll see quite a few basics because we have the Bushwhack package. So this is the deck. We're going to demo it for some games and we'll show it off. But let me know in the comments what you think. If you've been building it different, there's a lot of ways to kind of configure the shell. So, you know, feedback's good. We're kind of building this together as we kind of refine it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the videos. Alrighty, jumping into a game. So just got into Diamond, so we'll see how the meta differs potentially from Platinum. So this hand here has a lot of good elements. You have Sita as a play on one you usually want. Breakout helps you kind of establish Delirium. So at the very worst, we're at 2 card types with potential of something like FOMO to put something in. Good lands, so I will keep. Against any sort of graveyard combo-ish deck, you have Kenai as well. So this is a hand that you usually want something like Sita Hope or Patchwork Beastie in your opener. Just ways to kind of get the Delirium train running. So this deck's actually kind of a bad matchup. I am going to decline here. Just because we'll have Delirium going. The Raise Pass deck is a bit of a pain since we're gonna Wildfire here. We can see like Delirium on turn 2 by doing that. And now we 4-3. Kenai can be useful in this matchup as well if it is Raise Past. This is just straight mono-white life gain. It could be a little bit, but usually black-white. They have Shelter by Ghost, it looks like. Malia. So Malia is going to be a bit of a pain. We need a Bushwhack here. And drawing nothing but lands isn't that great. We could Gastral Thrill here. I could Kenai with mana up. We can try to start getting the Delirium going, or kind of cancel out their Delirium, but I think this turn we're just going to push through some damage. This deck does a good job of just like chumping early and then having some residual. Ah, that's a good one. Might just be straight kind of life gain-ish deck. So we have Breakout or Gastral Thrill. I think we're gonna do Gastral here. Just more mana efficient. Because this forces a block out of the Amalia or they're dead. So here, they did hit the land, which works well for them, but I can haste this, and then I have Kenai. So we have Breakout as well. This is why I like the Thrill Roller. It was basically a card that we self-milled over, so we got some virtual card advantage. It helped us kind of filter through some of our excess lands afterwards, and just push through a lot of damage there. They could gain some life here, the trample being relevant. May have to see how we play out this hand, because if we whiff on this, they could raise pass. That's what I'm concerned with. Because that's 8. So this is 8 damage. This is 8. That's 2, 3, 5. So like this has a higher likelihood of winning. I think we just go for it. Almost whiffed there. Just because if they raise pass, they basically kill me with that. But enough trample damage is through. And we win! So on the board, we'll jump into the next game and we'll catch you there. Alrighty, jumping into some more games. Playing an almost mythic, so we'll see how this game goes. Opponent goes first. That's probably okay. Probably gonna hang on to the bushwhack here. Depending on what they're playing. Again, you do kind of want a turn 1 enabler here, but so here I think we're just going to try to prioritize getting Delirium going. Thin out the deck a bit. When you see this, it's likely Omni combo. Could be another blue-white control. Don't love seeing that. Opponent missing a land is great for us. More lies. At this point, just the one sorcery in the yard. An overprotect would be nice, just something to kind of protect here. I think we're just doing this. They're missing lands, but patchwork's not bad. Jeez, they just have everything. I mean, they're struggling on lands, but just interaction, 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 interaction. At this point, I just gotta play out stuff. That's multiple types. I think we're just gonna force here. We could have played around No More Lies, which is what I was thinking. but I wanted to try to discard 2 there. Like, that was the only thing that kind of got us there. We could have played the land, but... might have been right. We need a good flip here. Yeah, overprotect is good. Give it double strike. Got him. Got him! The opponent was stuck on 2 there, but they had like 7 pieces of interaction. So that's gonna kind of get you sometimes. Like, I would say it's a good... like, they missed lands, but to miss lands and just have 4 removal spells, 2 counters, still playable, still helps you go in that card. But we'll head to the next game. Another game. Alright, so this hand here, I think we try it out. Again, could benefit from having a 1-drop, but I think there's enough good things in this hand. FOMO ditching Gastral, some value plays. I'm going to start with Breakout. I usually will try to keep Wildfire till a little later. There's a line to kind of lead with Carpoolson so you can play Kenai, but chances are in the matchups where Kenai is good. I think I'm going to go Beastie here. It dodges all the Golgari removal and it will fuel my graveyard. Because next turn I can FOMO the Kenai. Perfect. We hit land. So we have a couple options here. I do like Paw Patch potentially versus like Golgari removal deck, but I think just chunking in a point of damage here when they can't kill the Thrill Roller. Because then this makes it so I have kind of virtual haste next turn as well. And if they want to trade here, I'm also happy to get the Demon Wall off the battlefield. Again, another card, doesn't die to cut down, doesn't die to go for the throat. If they're playing Anoint with Affliction, like the one card we just don't want to see is Glissa. Can't really beat a Glissa. Okay, so they missed lands, which is a good sign for us. We have Enchantment Sorcery. Getting the rope. We are getting the rope, folks. Even if we get roped, I think I might keep this in here. Just as, okay, so Paw Patch is on. So I'm going to play this pre-combat. We missed a line drop here, but this kind of forces an answer out of them. And then I get to distribute counters if needed. Against Golgari, this is good. Probably go all in here. because they can trade with Thrill Roller here, but largely okay with that. Because Wildfire will come in. Got him. So they stumbled on some lines there, but we presented a lot of power here. This is why I like the Thrill Roller. Like, we were able to push through a lot of damage. It made it so, like, even removal, you know, we translated it into another attacker, which plays well to the overall strategy. So catch you in the wrap-up. Wrap-up time. So we went 3-1 with the deck. The one gameplay I didn't show was against blue-white control. It just wasn't an interesting match. They went temporary lockdown into best of one, rest of peace, into Wrath of God or Day of Judgment, whatever is the... So it wasn't really a game in that case, and that's going to happen sometimes in best of one. I know a couple games, like, opponents did miss a couple line drops in these videos, but I think it shows how we dodged the removal. Like against Golgari, they had cut down. I'm assuming they probably had something like Go for Throat in hand, which just wasn't effective against the deck, where we bring artifact creatures, bigger powers, stuff like that. Against the blue-white control deck that we did feature, they did play a bunch of removal and interaction still, but we were able to still outpace and put enough pressure and kind of combo kill them with the Overprotect, Violent Urge, Embercleave combo. This was, I've been playing mostly on my iPad, so like I said, I've been using this deck, this configuration through to Diamond, and I'll likely continue as I kind of move to Mythic. If you want to kind of see changes as I kind of adapt the deck, do Diamond meta if needed, or just evolution, my untap link is in the video description, so you can always find it there. And we'll be back on the weekend with more metagame breakdowns, looking at the top decks across all the formats. So thanks for watching, hope you have a great one, and see you next time.